we're back just in time for the last pick here between Dread Zone Gaming Arcadia and Con Esports Z, as it looks like we're contemplating top laners here with Darius potentially on the board here for Young Nats. If it is the lock-in, Ornn would be what it's against, and yep, it will be the Dirty D up in the top lane for Con Esports. So we got a lot to talk about and catch up here after those technical difficulties regarding the draft, but we got a banger pick to come right back into.
Yep, Darius going to be locked in here for Con Esports. I do really like to see champions like Darius being played in competitive. I feel like it's a champion you wouldn't normally expect to see, and especially with the Ghost sort of nerf, revert, however long you've been playing, whatever you want to call it. Champions that really work well with that, or used to work well with that Ghost timer reset, are a little bit weaker just due to the fact that it does not reset upon takedowns anymore. So Darius not nearly as strong as he used to be pre 13-14, but still a strong laner, still a strong bully who can really chase you down, run you down. And I think Con have drafted themselves a really good sort of rundown, chase down kind of comp. Cassiopeia gets that bonus movement speed, hitting those Qs and just, you know, walking toward enemies. Rakan has the ultimate available, Kai'Sa has the rush, Maokai can set up for a lot of that chase down with the CC that he provides with his W and his ultimate. So I like the theme that Con have drafted for themselves. I think really it's going to tell how good it can be in the laning phase when they sort of get their carries ahead.
Yeah, and in other news here for oh, thank you. In other news for Dread Zone Gaming, you know, we mentioned it before, but Suki here in the bot lane role, so it will be the Swain for the mage pickup down into the bot lane, which is another reason that I guess Dread Zone is fortunate to get their hands on the Jace once again, just to be able to provide some of that sort of equalize the damage and the AD and the magic and physical damage. So I'm excited to see how this Swain operates in the bot lane. It's not quite as meta as the Ziggs, but we've definitely seen it before.
Yep, I mean, Swain is more unconventional, you know, in that bot lane, but it is a champion. I personally, Elsa, something you have to know about me, I absolutely hate Swain. I think the flexibility that he provides and just, it feels so hopeless whenever you feel a Swain, whenever you face a Swain, right? He gets the 6 and he just becomes this unkillable monster, deals a lot of damage, got buffed recently where his Q is now dealing much more damage than it used to, and I feel like that buff sort of flew under the radar. Haven't seen as much Swain as I expected to after that set of buffs, but good thing for me given that I don't like playing against it. But the champion is still incredibly strong in the right hands, has a lot of versatility and a lot of damage to back it up. So curious to see how DZG Arcadia are going to use the pick.
Yeah, and I think last game we wanted more action. We eventually got it later on in the game, but looking at this Ornn here from Dread Zone Gaming definitely gives a little bit more of a go button for them to start these team fights. So I'm hoping that earlier on we can see, you know, some more of that team fighting. As I guess something else that can talk about here was the flexibility between this Rel and the Nautilus. I mean, we have seen a little bit of Nautilus jungle, but overall more of the Rel in the jungle, so we will see that as well. So I mean, just between the Nautilus, Rel, and Ornn, a lot of beefiness here for Dread Zone Gaming. I mean, even the Swain is kind of like an off tank. So I guess my question is, will Dread Zone have enough damage in some of these scenarios, especially given, you know, the sustain that some of these members from Con Esports have in their pockets as well?
Yeah, and I mean, I want to credit Present for his flexibility. He did pull out the Kindred last week, and I feel like a lot of champions, he is a very versatile player just off the limited information that we have on him. Can play tanks, can play carries. Rel as a champion though, especially in the jungle, is one that worries me heavily, because while it is very meta adept, I feel like a lot of players play meta picks without quite knowing you know, how to execute on them properly. I've seen this time and time again with champions like the Maokai, like the Rel, these sort of tank, you know, set up junglers, and a lot of it comes down to positioning, you know, where are you supposed to be at the right time. So I think positioning for both of these junglers, not just for the Rel, is really going to be the name of the game, is really going to be important to keep in mind as we hop into game 2.
Yeah, Con Esports are up 1-0, so the win would give them the series victory. Dreadzone Gaming, they got a little bit of a hill to climb. They would have to win this game and the next one, but it all starts here. We're going to go into our spectator delay, and when we come back, we will be in it for week 3 of APL, potentially the last game of this series between Dreadzone Gaming, Arcadia, and Con Esports Z. You don't want to miss any of the action, so don't go away, or if you do, make it very short and then come right back.
And every time I close my eyes, a little less of you remains. I know you're slipping further from me now. Am I too far away? Tell me
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the APL, where we have a possible invade. We got a 5-stack here on the top side from the likes of Con Esports Z, who did take the win in game 1. It looks like it could be a defensive stack here. They are against that Nautilus after all. We should see a pretty passive level 1, unless it's a late invade.
Yeah, for sure. And while we have some time, I do want to note Caxie's choice of runes did opt to go for, did actually not opt to go for something like a first strike, which I think is actually very wise in this scenario. The reason being, you probably won't get a lot of gold against a comp that has Jace and Swain and so much like more poke than essentially you can take. So I do like him going, you know, the resolve tree here for the mythic instead. And it looks like he is going to start the Raptors, but is on a ward here, so they will know where he started. Both junglers, again, like last game, starting on the top side, pathing down on the bot lane. I feel like there could be a chance for Caxie to path up, given that he does have a Darius. It is a very aggressive lane. Potentially cover it in case Angry Present wants to alleviate some pressure, but looks like he's just going to opt for the more aggressive route, try and get to the bot lane around the time the Rel does, and maybe we'll see a 3v3.
Yeah, and for Young Nut this time, last game had the Gnar, never really found that game-breaking team fight use of the Mega Gnar, but this time with the Darius gonna have a lot more agency in that 1v1, kind of a little bit of a you know, swap of roles in that way. This time with Argo on that Ornn, obviously going to be really oriented around the team. But yeah, both junglers still up here on the top side, but it looks like Angry Present definitely pathing down, whereas that Maokai, like you mentioned, might pay a visit into that top side, but no, it looks like probably gonna go bot, I guess. So never mind. More farming.
Yep, ping's coming out from Angry Present. Might be looking mid here. Ryzini does have the flash available, but so does the opposing team. But this is something that we saw Angry Present do last game, right? He wanted to look for some early, he wanted to look for some early pressure, but it really ended up costing him a lot of tempo, just falling further and further behind Caxie. But we'll have to see if it works this time.
Hey, it is going to be a trade of flashes. I think that is pretty much what you're hoping for here if you are Angry Present. Cassiopeia immobile, so will not have that flash available, and Andicus on the other side still will keep his on the J. So it's a question of if they're able to punish with a regank, or, you know, or if Ryzini is kind of limited in positioning based on that missing flash.
It's absolutely worth it, I feel, for Preston. He does have that Hex Flash rune available, so can still look to make plays with the Crashdown W, despite burning his flash. So definitely worth it for the side of DZG, I would say. But both junglers are on this bot lane. Angry Present did just finish up his blue buff, and there is a pushed wave, so might be looking for something here. His bot lane is getting pretty aggressive.
Yeah, a little bit of fighting here, not really getting close to any kill credit quite yet, but Rakan possibly looking for a roam, maybe just to gain some vision into the enemy jungle here, and then come back down. Dragon still not spawning for a little under a minute here, so not looking for anything too serious yet, but it will, that ward will you know, give some more information as to the whereabouts of Rel.
Yup, and Angry Present going to reset, going to get his boots available, so will have that extra little bit of movement speed to continue looking for plays in the mid lane. I can't imagine he would want to ignore mid lane with the flash down from Ryzini, but you can see that little pixel brush ward near the crab will probably spot out the jungler, so yeah, won't be able to get a gank off here. You can see he's looking potentially, but yeah, just he's on a ward, he's on vision. Ryzini knows to play safe, so nothing will happen, it looks like.
Yeah, nice vision there. Complimented it last time for both teams. It's a nice double knock up there from Viva, not gonna result in anything further. And both teams just kind of continue to farm away here. Not any huge CS advantages being manifested thus far. Ryzini with a little bit of an advantage here, about 10 farm ahead, give or take in the mid lane. But at the end of the day, 300 gold separating the teams, not a massive amount.
And something I really want to see from Youngnut, you know, on this Darius is that, you know, those aggressive plays. Look to get deep vision into the enemy jungle. Look to maybe even pressure Angry Present when he's clearing his Gromp or clearing his Wolves, because it's going to be very difficult for Ornn. This is a kind of lane where you don't really expect Darius to be able to kill if Argo has, you know, some semblance of positioning expertise on this Ornn. So while you're not going to be able to kill him, you can at least bully him around. But the Rel, on the other hand, the Rel who does not have Flash, speaking of not having Flash,
that's the other one without Flash, and it's Angry Present coming to finish what he started. First blood going over to the Rel. You might have wanted to see it go over to the Jace, but either way, it will go into the hands of Dreadzone Gaming, and Aegis able to farm out here and take a recall back to the base shortly thereafter.
Yeah, I mean, that was a really good roam from Invictus Recon as well on that Nautilus. You know, being able to lead Flash with that auto attack to just guarantee the hit, you know, not letting that Miasma potentially chance it, and just looking for the Q afterwards. There's so much lockdown from the jungle and support of DZG that, yeah, Ryzini just had nowhere to go, and it was an easy kill.
Yeah, so that does put the lead into the hands of Dreadzone Gaming for now. Dragon is heavily warded for now by the red side, and looking down into this bot lane, you know, last game Chubbity on the Aphelios kind of bided his time all game long, then finally at the end made the big play with the quadra kill in that team fight. So here on the Kai'Sa is kind of set up to have similar success with that scaling oriented pick, and you know, has just been able to pretty much farm for free so far down into the bot lane against this Swain Nautilus combo. So I mean, I think that is just something that's got to be on your mind if you're Dreadzone Gaming, knowing that there's this ticking time bomb of a Kai'Sa, which, you know, if unaddressed, could definitely be a big issue, because there's not that hyper carry sort of champion on the other side with Suki on this mage pick.
Yep, and Aegis going to roam down, going to, you know, disappear from the mid lane. So that is going to be a Dragon. Caxi really is up to him to respond. It looks like he's going for this Herald here. 8.5 minutes into the game. I'm not really sure I like these early heralds, because while it does help to, you know, sort of equalize the gold, it also does put you on a timer to sort of use that herald in really early spots, and you want to use that herald when a lane is available to gank. And I feel like just taking the herald earlier is not always better. I feel like in certain cases it would be nice to counter jungle Angry Presence camps, but he is going to pick up that herald. A little bit curious as to where he's going to put it, but we might have our answer here, as top lane is looking spicy.
Ooh, Argo is going to flash, does have the Ornn horn here. I'm not sure if it was needed, but it will be used. An Angry Present, meanwhile, has arrived, does have the flash available, but not going to use it for now. They don't have that go button with the Ornn, and so I'm just going to be here for a potential backup, and Caxi will back off. As you mentioned, Quax has that Rift Herald. We'll see where the opportunity to drop it will come, because, you know, Cassiopeia not wanting to be super far shoved up into the Jace makes her a little vulnerable. Bot lane's just been shoved in. Oh, speaking of bot lane, Invictus Recon just caught out here, doesn't have the flash, and not even paying attention. This Nautilus roaming into the river and getting punished.
Yeah, I mean, good pickup there from Viva, recognizing, hey, I don't think he has Angry Present around. He doesn't have his jungler to save him, so we can just get a pick off of here. And so Chubbity and Ryzini, they have the ability to collapse. And yeah, just like you said, Elsa, just completely caught out there. Invictus Recon not respecting the potential vision that Khan themselves have placed in that in that river. So going to equalize the kills up. Khan now up in gold by about 1k or a little bit less. Or no, it literally is 1k. It just turned to 1k as I said that. But Herald going to be dropped early here by Caxi, going to charge mid lane. And this is exactly what I said, you know, with the Herald is now he uses it in the mid lane, but it only goes to Caxi, right? Ryzini was recalling so that Cassiopeia is not going to get any gold. I think it is a little bit better this time for the Cass, given that she did just get a kill. But yeah, the mid laner, Ryzini, Cassio, just missing out on more gold.
Yeah, and I mean, and even then, I mean, it's just 100 and just the one plate, 175 gold that Rift Herald has been worth every time, except for one of the times last game I think it didn't even charge. So not necessarily huge value found out of the time that they have invested into that. As Caxi does potentially look to come to this bot lane. Both junglers are here. Zandik is taking heavy damage here when that poison lands. Gonna be taking so much. Yeah, we definitely could see something. Looks like both teams may be feeling wary, but Rel does have flash. If she wants to look for a quick engage, she could get there. Oh, but Viva warding it out. So
did they see Caxi there? I feel like they might have.
Sure, but I don't know if they would have really a reason to fight. You know, like I don't. They're not going to be able to dive. I don't think so. I'm not sure if it's going to matter as Maokai will channel the recall. We do see first items coming through for some members here. Kaisa picking up that Kraken Slayer. So as we could kind of tell right away with the lethal tempo, Rune will be going for that DPS against this tanky composition. From Dreadzone Gaming. Definitely makes sense to go in that direction. You know, otherwise we got the Rod of Aegis for Cassiopeia, and it looks like eventually the Jace will go with that Dustblade, which is so OP in my opinion. I'm really sick of playing against that item, so makes sense that Jace would want to take it. It kind of adds a whole nother dimension to Jace, to go off on a tangent, because normally I feel like Jace, you know, you do have a ton of damage in your melee form in team fights, being able to jump in, but normally you're so afraid to do that just because you're so squishy. But you know, with the Dustblade afterwards giving you a little bit more ability to get out, it's pretty terrible to play against in my opinion.
Yep. So, and Elsa, I got some bad news for you, Elsa. If you really hate Duskblade, my friend, they have an Ornn.
Yeah, so true.
It's going to get worse.
Duskblade. I don't know what it's called, but yeah.
Yeah, and that's another thing that I think Con Esports really need to be aware of, right? They don't have a dragon, you know, up, and it is going to be spawning in 7 seconds, but Con really need to get these early dragons. They need a way to find some semblance in this late game, because those ornaments, we've seen it time and time again, just add a whole other layer, a whole other dimension to the champions that they get onto. And so Khan need to be able to fight fire with fire, scaling with scaling here, because when those ornaments start to unlock, Khan, unless they have something to, you know, sort of counter it with in this late game, could just see themselves squeezed out of this game.
Yeah, that is really important to keep in mind with the scaling. You know, I was talking about the Kaisa, but on the other side, those ornaments add that additional element for Dreadzone, and they will take this dragon. They will start the stacking on these. 2-0 so far, and it looks like it's lucky me, because this time it will be the Hex Gates have opened up, and it will be that potential Hex Tech soul on the table for Dreadzone Gaming, especially given that they have those 2 completed already. Ooh. It's nice flash to get out, but huge value on that roam from Viva.
Yeah, good roam from Viva there. And Elsa, last game you were talking about how much you loved the Hextech Soul, so wish be granted, my friend. We have a Hextech Soul on our hands here for this game. Hextech, definitely one of the best souls you can get. The Chain Lightning is so versatile with basically whatever champion, whatever comp you draft for themselves. As DZG are going to find the first turret of the game in this bot lane. That is a lot of gold going over to Suki. Have to be really careful about this Swain.
I mean, at first, you know, we saw Viva blow the flash in the mid lane, actually also just blew Angry President's flash as well, so that's nice. But the trade-off is Chubbity left alone. Last game, you know, we saw Chubbity left alone against the Janna, not that big of a deal. It's a totally different story against Nautilus here, and they are going to lose the first turret. Chubbity also zoned off a lot of that farm and all of the XP pretty much, but now we're going to see a team fight as Caxi does have the flash, stuck in the pit for now, going to be pulled away from the wall, going to flash back into the wall, taken down, and now it's a party in the pit as Young Nat's going to be around 5 members, but not able to 1v5 as the Darius, and it's going to be all Dread Zone Gaming there as they do lose their support, but they will be picking up the Rift Herald as well as the jungler and a top laner of Con Esports Z.
You know what's kind of funny? I could definitely tell what Caxi wanted to do there. Invictus Recon unironically almost saved him by going over to that Hex Gate. He was going to try and flash W over the wall and save himself from the enemy team, but the Magnet Storm was just too much and he wasn't able to get it. But yeah, Invictus Recon almost saved Caxi there. That could have been a very, very different play for the side of DZG. But yeah, Caxi going to go down. Chubbity
Having to flash away. He tried to sidestep the Vision of Vampire there, but ends up getting tagged with that really big slow. So caught out of position. Actually, that is a pretty big summoner stuff for the Kaisa. Still has the killer instinct to get to safety as well as the ghost, but we'll see. 2 minutes until the Hextech Dragon coming up, and this will be an important one for Dreadzone, trying to get themselves onto this soul point with a pretty early stack, a lot earlier than we saw in the last game. As Invictus Recon takes the aggro, now going to get knocked under the turret, running away for now, but the killer instinct coming through from the Kaisa. Invictus Recon, last hit not going to come through, and now the huge AoE damage from Suki has arrived. Angry Present also available, providing that CC, and it's going to be Chubbity. Didn't have the flash from earlier and will be the victim of that engagement. Cannot believe Invictus Recon ended up getting out alive there. As now both top laners meeting in the river. You would think that Young Nut would want this 1v1, but it is not a 1v1, and he knows that to be the case. Does have the flash. We'll have to use that to get out of safety.
Yeah, I mean, really, Victor Cotton left coming out a very exciting there as he was out of situation and almost killed, but his team managed to turn the fight around after he got out. And yeah, I mean, Stuki on this Swain is just getting so much gold, right? Just got a kill, has the Leandries and the Sork shoes in tow, and really it's only going to get worse for Con Esports Z trying to deal with this raid boss Swain that he's, you know, turning out to, you know, become later on in this game. But it could get even worse because this dragon will be spawning. This could be a soul point for DZG, so Con have to be aware of this, might have to fight this, but not sure if they have the damage to kill the carries of DZG, and even if they do, I'm not sure they have the damage to get through the front line of DZG for that matter.
Yeah, so much tankiness in this front line from Dreadzone, and even their back line with this Swain, especially when he pops the Demonic Ascension, becomes so difficult to take down. So it will be about this Kaisa and also this Cassiopeia to shred through as Caxi going to be hooked into the bush blind, and now we're going to see a big Magnet Storm for Magnet Present. Nice setup, but now the team is able to kite back, and what will they be able to accomplish? Ryzini has to flash over the wall, and the Orin Horn coming through, not going to find anyone, but it's going to zone the members in 2 separate directions, and it's Andakiss on a killing spree, 3-0-1 on this Jace, and it looks like it will be the 3rd dragon of the game for Dreadzone. They're going to put themselves on the soul point here for Hextech. And a nice team fight, just really zoning out the carries from Con Esports with that early burst of damage and not allowing the Cassiopeia or Kaisa to have any impact on the fight.
I really want to know what Con's mentality was going into that fight. They had 3 members in that bush, They didn't have, DZG didn't have vision of it, but the moment that Nautilus Q, you know, came up, it hit Caxi, they knew immediately, okay, we can go in and just Angry Present, able to find them all CC trained for days. Grouping up against DZG's comp is probably the worst thing that you can do because they have so much AoE CC, and yeah, they just utilize that to the fight, and even though they don't get any members initially, Andicus, like you said, able to pick up a kill there, and the rest of Con really just limping away.
Yeah, I mean, you can see the way that they're able to control these spaces, you know, with that Ornn and also the Nautilus and the Swain. And yeah, I mean, it doesn't really seem to be hurting them at this point, not having kind of that backline AD carry, because Swain is doing just as much work. I mean, definitely, especially at this point, not really much magic resist picked up on the side of Con Esports, especially not on, you know, those carries who are so squishy. So Swain just hitting like a truck at this point. And we'll see how Con Esports can kind of look to reorient and reorganize themselves here, because it just doesn't seem like they are spacing out the team fights in a way that allows their carries to do just that and carry. They're just kind of running for the hills before they know it, it seems like.
Yeah, I mean, Con Esports, they do have 3 Mercury Treads in tow, but that's not nearly enough to stop the absolute onslaught of damage that Suki is going to be laying down, has been laying down for this game on this Swain. But it is nice that they have those Merc Treads, because the CC from DZG is quite a lot, so having that bonus tenacity is going to be nice for the side of Con Esports. But how much really can it buy here, as DZG are really just trailblazing this game ahead? The next Dragon up in a little less than 3 minutes, so not really going to see any setup for that within the next, you know, maybe minute and a half until wards really start to become important. But right now, I think Con just need to worry about pushing lanes. They need to worry about getting pressuring the side of DZG. Maybe they can find a pick, because as it stands, if they go for a fight at this Dragon, they are going to get absolutely destroyed.
Yeah, unlike last game, definitely we're seeing a little bit more separation earlier on. 22 minutes, so not super early. We're definitely firmly entered the mid-game phase of this game and have been for a while. But yeah, I mean, there is a lot of, I mean, we've talked about this Ornn and those ornaments, which are already going to start to come
active
now.
Yeah, he hit level 14.
So that's going to start to become a factor already. And looking on the other side, we've got Ryzini has finished stacking up that Saris Embrace as well as the Rod of Aegis. So that is a pretty, you know, big break point. Kaisa finishing up the Navori Quickblade. So 2 items as well. But you know, we'll see if it's enough. I mean, young Nats could be a big X factor. He hasn't really been able to find any sort of split push pressure, but Darius, you know, can interact in those team fights. It's just about finding that initial reset with the Noxian Guillotine. Then we could see some additional dunks start to come through, hoping.
Yup, I mean, really, Young Nut hasn't had many opportunities on this Darius to go into a team fight and really start to, you know, get off those passives onto the enemy team. I think that this fight, this next fight for this Dragon spawning in a little less than a minute is probably going to be the first display. But DZG, if they're smart, they're just going to burst Young Nut down. He has a decent amount of resistances, but there is that last whisper from Andicus, who is 3-0 on this Jace. So Young Nut going to have to be careful, but on this Jace, I mean, on this Darius, you do not want to be careful. You want the opportunity to just run in and face tank everybody.
32 seconds as Darius has come down to join the team. Argo has teleport, but doesn't look like he'll need to use it, just clearing out that wave and then potentially looking to join up here. And remember, this would be the soul for a Dread Zone. if they are able to take it.
Ooh, Argo.
He's going to check this bush, going to use his ultimate, but not able to reactivate. Is the miasma going to cancel? And there is the Noxian Game team coming through. Will it be enough to finish the first kill? For now, the answer is no, but Young not able to just use his Q to get the kill instead, but now it's Suki doing so much damage in the middle of the team, and what looked good at first has totally turned around as Chubbity tries to use the killer instinct to get to safety, but it doesn't matter, as it's going to be a 3 for 2 in favor of Dread Zone Gaming. They'll turn their attention over to the dragon, and it should be a soul for the blue side. More scaling power here as they take this one down and win the first true team fight of the game.
Yup, and I mean, really kind of unfortunate there from Youngnut. He had full stacks on the passive for Darius, had the Noxian Guillotine prepared, and it just did not finish off Argo, you know, on that Ornn. Argo didn't even die from the poison. I totally thought he was going to drop with just how much damage the bleed inflicts on you. But yeah, the Ornn manages to stay alive. The ultimate from the Darius does not reset, and he just was not able to find the resets on with the ultimate. So as a result, DZG, they win the team fight, they get the soul, and now they look to be in control of this game.
It just kind of seems like Kai'Sa and Cassiopeia, not, you know, they're range champions, but neither of them are very high range. And the problem is, if you're, you know, by the time if you don't have your distance between from this Swain, you know, etc., you're not going to have a good time if you're a squishy champion, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So there's a little bit of a, you know, kind of issue there, it seems like, for Con Esports, just as far as positioning their carries to get damage off. Not enough peel tools, it seems like, maybe. I'm not really sure.
Youngnut being sought after here by Argo.
Yeah, it will be Argo popping the ultimate here, but there are members coming for backup eventually, but it doesn't look like it's going to matter, at least at first, because the first skill is going to come down. But now here's Viva into the fight. Chubbity has arrived, as well as Raizimi, so the damage is here, and it is going to be Argo falling. So 1-for-1, both top laners going down, and if you're Con Esports Z, you got to be happy with that result. Down so far, but look at that Hextech Soul, so annoying against champions like Jace, who can apply it from such a long range. And right now, Con Esports, though, they do want to start up this Baron. Jungler is alive on the other side, but they want to take this moment to force the enemy into their hands. They think they have a little bit of an advantage, but look at Andicus's damage.
The poke from the Jace is crazy. Con, they can't finish it.
Single-handedly prevent Con Esports from completing this Baron. And Andicus coming in as a substitute here has been huge on the Jace. Losing game one, I believe he was 7-0-1 or something like that. 6-0-2 so far in this one. And Dread Zone going to be able to take another turret here. Really just running around, controlling the map. Only about less than a 2k gold lead, so I mean, you know, all in all, it is pretty close. But just nice movement here from the blue side, able to prevent the Baron from being taken.
Yeah, and I want to go back to that, you know, top lane skirmish just for a little bit. Youngnut was tanking so much damage, literally all of the CC and damage that DZG had in their kits was being unloaded onto the Darius. So as a result, when his team arrived, they just had nothing left in the tank. They had the cooldowns up and were not able to finish off the rest of the members. So yeah, Argo dropped just as a result of that, but as soon as they got the cooldowns back up, we're able to poke off Con Esports Z from that Baron. Andicus, again, just so much damage here on this Jace. We didn't see the Q, or maybe we did, but Chubbity literally taken to half with one Jace EQ combo. This guy is starting to turn really lethal now that he also has his upgraded ornament. Drakthar's Shadow Carver. There's something to add into your dictionary, Elsa.
Yep, that's an interesting one. Yeah, and I mean, with the Cyrilda's Grudge completed as well, you can see not only does he chunk people out, but also you know, even giving the opportunity to engage off of that, or at the very least forcing people to retreat with that slow. So Baron being started up here, but it will be
has the ghost
out from on Esports, and Angry President is going to find the go button under Ryzini. Will they be able to find the last hit on this Cassiopeia? No, not for now, as the Petrifying Gauge is absolutely huge. Now onto the backline is Angry President Part 2. Oh, just for tanks left, and it's so much damage as a double kill and a triple kill from the Darius, Chubbity, and Ryzini never fall. It's a 5-for-0 clean ace from Khan Esports. Have we seen it before? Deja vu here in game 2 as Khan Esports picks up the Baron as their cherry on top.
Yeah, Ryzini just kept alive for so unbelievably long. The Zhonya's hourglass defenses that it provides, and then the Seraph's embrace shield coming in so clutch for that fight. And DZG just could not finish off the Cassiopeia. And then Youngnut, fully stacked with the passive, was ready for the flank. And just like that, Khan Esports managed to turn this one around. They have the Baron, and the Elder is spawning here in about 40 seconds. Could we see the turnaround, Elsa?
Everybody will be back alive, but crucially the vision control was established here in both the red side jungle as well as the river for Khan Esports. We can see the red wards littering this area. Waves also pushed out here, so it's complete control of the map for Khan Esports. They will set up around this Elder Drake, which is going to spawn in just about 14 seconds. So how do you enter the area if you're Dread Zone Gaming? Because it doesn't seem like it's an option to just give this one away.
Yeah, for sure.
Here we go. I guess you walk in.
Yeah, I mean, DZG, they don't have anything left. They have to just walk in. They have to challenge Khan for the rights for this Elder. But you can see Youngnut, he is on the side.
Asma's been dropped, so that will be the go button as Argo's going to hit just one. The Maokai going to be the only one hit, and now to watch Chubbity on the back line.
What is happening?
As Andik is going down on the chase. Petrifying Gaze has been saved for this moment, and just Suki against the world. Not going to be able to make it happen. Triple kill from Kaisa. And they're not hitting the Elder Dragon. You know what that means? It means that they're going to try to end the game. 34 seconds on this chase, so it's going to be a little bit close because they still don't even have the inner turret. I'm not sure if they're actually going to be able to finish this one or not, Quacks.
Yeah, I mean, this really is a race. They're bursting it down really quickly. 20 seconds on Andicus here. Invictus Rakan is going to be spawning in 9 seconds, so he will be up to try and maybe delay Khan Esports Z, but Khan Esports Z, they don't care. They are trying to end here. 7 seconds on Andicus. I don't think they have the time here, Elsa.
They are going to be able to kill the first Nexus turret. Second Nexus turret is going to go down now, and I think that with the minions, they've got the hitting it, but it's going to be a 2-0.
They got it!
For Khan Esports Z. All you got to do is win one team fight, and you can win the game. That's what they showed us 2 games in a row, and I mean, they do it. It's in an exciting fashion. You got to give them that at the very least, if nothing else.
Yeah, I mean, it was basically DZG's game for most of it, but one crucial Baron fight where they are not able to kill Ryzini, and all of a sudden the game is turned on its head in favor of Khan Esports, and they managed to get a 2-0. What a series, Elsa. That was a crazy way to end the game.
Yeah, and for Khan Esports, they will take a 2-0. You know, it'll go into the record books as a 2-0, but I think, you know, everybody who is here tonight watching, all the real ones out there, know that it didn't necessarily feel like that. A really close series here from Dread Zone Gaming, you know, in both games, really holding a lot of control at various points, especially in that second one. We are going to take a moment of a break here, but when we come back, we're going to have an interview with a member of the victorious team here. So we'll send it to a break, but don't go anywhere because we'll be back in just a moment once we get our interviewee in here from Khan Esports. Hello, everybody, and we are back with an interview with the mid laner of Con Esports. We got Ryzini in it. Welcome to the interview segment, Ryzini, and congratulations on the victory.
Thank you.
Just a moment ago, when we were waiting to get on here, you were just mentioning how playing against Aegis in the mid lane. Actually, I'm not sure if you were aware, but I believe is a sub coming in for Dreadzone. And what did you think of your opponent's performance, I guess, in these two games?
Dude, that Jace was really good. I don't know how else to say it. Like, he was hitting his EQs. It felt oppressive. It felt like we couldn't push any lanes. Game one, it was so good. He killed me off a Baron on Orianna. Like, that was really sad. I was about to tear up after that. But yeah, that guy was so good. Like, genuinely.
Yeah, for sure. I guess a question that I have for you guys is, you guys are one of the top teams at the current, or well, up there, I suppose, in the standings. You're now 2-1, I believe. Are there any teams that you are looking forward to facing, or that you are, sort of nervous to face as the coming weeks of APL continue to roll out?
Not nervous, but I'm excited to see OE Cloud, I think that's their name, because they're 2-0 in the group, right? Yeah, them.
So.
Because I think it's going to be a really good match. I want my revenge against Kentucky Fried Chicken team. What was it? I don't know the name.
Yep,
but them,
Team Fried Chickens, but it's Team Fried Chickens, but KFC is their acronym, so we're all confused. Don't worry.
Okay, cool. Yeah, them. Hopefully it goes differently. I'm thinking it will. But yeah, those are the only two. I don't know much about any of the other teams, so we'll see when it happose.
So yeah. Go ahead, Cracks.
Oh no, I didn't have a question, bro.
I was just gonna say, that second game we talked, both of those games really bangers. The first one, going real long. But then in that second one, it really seemed like, at least from the spectator perspective, it felt like you all were kind of lagging a little bit behind, and then kind of a little bit more behind. It seemed like in the fights towards that mid game. So from your perspective, playing Cassiopeia and knowing that you also have that kind of Kai'Sa as a scaling carry, did you feel was the feeling amongst the team like you were super far behind, or did you feel like you were still right in that game?
No, not at all. We knew we were going to win from draft because our draft was way better. Honestly, they just needed to snowball early, and they kind of did, but they didn't really transition that to winning. It had to be a 25-minute game for them or something really early, so we won.
And I guess the last question that I have for you is, like Elsa said, that second game was pretty in favor of DZG for most of it, but basically just two fights later, and you guys managed to pull ahead and win the game the series 2-0. Was there a kind of a reaction to when you were alive after you got engaged on near that Baron fight? Because the whole time, Elsa and we thought you were a complete goner, but you managed to stay alive, continuing to throw out E's. Were you shocked? Did you know you were gonna live? What was the thought process after you were oh my god, I'm alive?
I knew I was gonna live because everybody that engaged on me, first off, they overcommitted and they didn't really get onto me. But when they did get onto me, it was only the tanks, and Swain and Jace were lagging behind. So it was a problem because they didn't have to damage to kill me. And then we had an engage on backline. They died, and I was still alive. So it was really good. And then we could just transition that to winning the game.
There you have it. Well, thank you so much again for joining us for the interview. Do you have any shout outs or anything you wanted to say? Your moment in the spotlight here.
I don't know. Shout out to my team. They're really good. I like them.
Awesome. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Ryzini, and congratulations to Con Esports Z on the victory. Also, thank you so much to Dreadzone Gaming Arcadia for showing up. Awesome series, definitely a banger. 2-0. If there ever was one, I suppose. And thank you so much as well to Quacks for filling in on the cast tonight. We appreciated having you here.
My pleasure. It was really fun to cast. You guys, like you said, Elsa, was a banger of a series, and I wouldn't have had it any other way. Thank you, Ryzini, for providing.
Well, that's how we do it here
problem.
in the APL. Shout out to Wookie Monster as well, our producer, battling through technical woes and all of that to bring you this wonderful production here. We'll be back again next week, and you know that there's Aegis, League of Legends, and other esports going on all week long, so continue to check it out. But we will see you next time. Be safe. Have a great evening.